Hello and welcome to a not so awesome review. And today we're looking at Batman and Dracula. Um, First thing I should probably start off with is this is part one of a three-part series. This is Batman and Dracula Red Rain. I believe the next one is Crimson Mist. I'm not sure. And then there's a third one. I don't remember the name of it. But you don't need to collect them in this way. And unfortunately, I won't be doing a review on the other two, which I would love to, but I don't own them. The hardcovers are actually a little expensive. If you shop around, you can get them cheap. Volume 1, I think, seems to go for the most. But if you shop around, wait on eBay, somebody will post it for a decent price, which is actually how I got this one. If you don't want to wait, there are two actual ways to get it. There's Batman Vampire, trade paperback, has all three stories in it, or just recently, I believe a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago at the most, they released the Batman Elseworlds Volume 2, which actually includes the Batman Vampire series in it. So it's a pretty easy thing to get, especially since that book was just published. It's an easy title to get into. It is an Elseworld, which means that it is not continuity. It takes place in its own Earth, its own universe, and now that we got that out of the way, Batman and Dracula, not to be confused with The Batman versus Dracula or whatever the name of that movie was from that show. It was on CW, which actually wasn't that bad of a movie. I did see it. It was more than 5 years ago, but I did see it, and I remember not hating it. I wasn't a fan of that cartoon show, but I remember the movie not being too bad. This, it's pretty good. I mean, it's the most, I think, Halloween story that I'm going to review this entire 13 days because it's Dracula. It's a vampire story. Um, and it's good. It has its moments where I well, it's not really moments. There's actually one thing that I didn't like, and that was the fact that just like year one, the only thing I didn't like about it is all of Batman's thoughts are in cursive handwriting, and I'm not a fan of reading that. I wasn't a fan of it in school, and I'm not a fan of it here. Everybody writes differently. Now, there was another book that I read that had the same thing. I don't remember what it was. It was another book. They did, handwriting for the thoughts of Batman, and it was fine. I could read it perfectly fine. Just something about this one, I don't know. I don't know what it is. If it's just written slightly differently, maybe it's the penmanship, but it strains my eyes more, especially than regular print, because print writing is just so much easier to read. I don't have to concentrate. I know what everything is. I don't know what it is about handwriting, especially maybe nowadays, considering you don't go on like Facebook or anywhere on the internet, Google, and everything comes up cursive. We don't really do that. I mean, if anything, that's probably not gonna be around. I mean, I see why you teach it and all that stuff in school, but as a day to day, it's not really. It's like a dying art. It feels like because there's not much reason to use it. You don't write letters anymore. You write emails. So yeah, there is that. But this was written a long time ago, or a good while ago. I guess you can consider it a long time ago. It's 2016. Fuck. um, yeah, but it it's the only thing I really didn't like about it. Now the story here is there's these murders going on with people's throats being sliced, and Batman's trying to catch the murderer, trying to get there in progress, whatever, but he can't do it. He's always a step behind until he finally gets there and is attacked by a woman much stronger than him. And he finds out that they're actual puncture wounds, like a vampire, and they're just slicing the neck to make it look like someone's neck is being sliced. Now, the mayor, he is trying to keep this under wraps. He doesn't want people to know this is happening. I think it's mostly happening to like homeless people. So to him, it's like, well, these people aren't going to be missed. So let's try and keep it under wraps as best we can. Gordon goes along with it, but it's something he definitely regrets pretty fast when he finds out what's going on. And Batman's having these weird dreams of this lady, and that plays into it much later. But the main thing here is red rain. It is raining red, and it's a chemical rain, apparently something to do with the pollution and stuff. The rain is actually turning the water in the faucet red at one point. It's not really like a creepy thing, but they did add it for, I'm assuming, dramatic effect. Red rain, blood rain, you could say. The thing here is, when we figure out it's vampires, Batman, Alfred doesn't believe it at all. Batman doesn't believe it until he sees it. He goes to a cemetery, finds his way under it into these caves, and finds these vampires. He finds dead bodies and then these vampires, and then confronts Dracula himself. Now, that's not where the main battle takes place. The main battle happens later. He does get a surprising, not surprising, but he does get help by someone. We don't really know who they are, but this person explains to him, the backstory for Dracula. He actually goes and asks this professor, I think it's a professor, she might be a librarian, I'm not even really sure, about vampires. And his question is, can there be good vampires? And that question is kind of answered at the end of the book. And that is my best summary for this. Anyone who knows the story, or I'm sure people who even don't know the story have seen pictures of vampire Batman. This is where that comes from, though it's not this volume. That's something that takes place in volume 2 and 3. So minor spoiler alert for that, but it's a pretty well-known thing. It's a pretty big skin on certain games and stuff, and there is an actual action figure of it, which is pretty cool. But yeah, this is the first of it. It has a good ending. I mean, honestly, if you just got this and read it through, you don't need part 2 or 3. It's just a continuation. But this definitely could be just a one-shot story, which most Elseworld titles are. And yeah, I really have nothing else to say about it. It is good. I do recommend it. I would give it a 5 out of 5. I would say 4.9 out of 5, but the handwriting thing is probably just me. I'm sure there's other people who don't enjoy it, but for the most part, I'm just going to leave that whole aspect out of it, because that's not really, the writing is still good, the story is still good, but I don't want to take away a point for something that I just don't enjoy, because when I'm reading it, like I said, I want to relax, and when it's handwriting, I feel like I have to try a little bit harder or something. I don't know. If you guys have the same problem, let me know. But yeah, the art style is good. Everything about it is good. Like I said, there's really no other word. It's good. It's interesting. It's definitely the most Halloween story I think I'm going to be doing. But anyways, that is my review for Batman and Dracula Red Rain. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe for more. And I will see you guys later with, I believe, would be the last 3 reviews until this whole 13 Nights of Halloween is over. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.